You have heard their disturbing words all week. Cedar Point workers sharing their personal stories of sexual abuse. Tonight, in the final installment of her series, 3 News Investigates, Marissa Saenz examines the employee dorms where these alleged assaults took place. Hi, Marissa.
Good evening, Russ. Critics worry that an uncontrolled dorm culture is driving these sexual assaults while also fueling a cycle of violence that's had few consequences.
Their stories are strikingly similar, all from inside the dorms of Cedar Point workers.
Jail halls.
Cute in the face, thick in the waist.
It's a culture molded over the years on urges of young adults, leaving a path of sexual assault survivors in its wake.
Not all fun and games. It can be a dangerous place.
There's people out there partying and like blasting their music and smoking and drinking, so I wouldn't be out there at nighttime by myself.
Amplified amid a national pandemic, Cedar Point dangled high pay and low-cost housing to lure college-age men and women. It worked, drawing 18-year-olds like Raven Jones and her future husband, Dylan Keuchel.
Going into it, I thought, wow, I'm gonna make $20 an hour. And wow, I'm gonna get to meet so many new people. And it's going to be fun. I'm going to have a good time. And well, life didn't really seem to work out that way.
Inside these dorms, our 3 News investigation found 27 reports of sexual assaults filed within Sandusky police since 2017. All involve Cedar Point coworkers as either perpetrators or prey. Just 3 cases ended in arrest. 15 others were dropped at the accuser's request.
Almost has a culture of not believing survivors.
A common thread Sandra Miller of the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center has heard over and over.
When survivors come forward and then choose to walk away from the criminal justice process, it is usually about the way they were treated in that process. They feel like they weren't believed, they weren't supported.
Cedar Point has its own police force, state certified with full arrest powers. They refuse to release their reports. To advocate Sarah Ferrato, there are signs that more survivors exist.
What strikes me is that there's potentially not more cases happening, and then also the risks, right, of maybe not having policies and procedures in place that would prevent sexual violence from happening.
Cedar Point, its police chief, nor Erie County's prosecutor would answer our questions about the dorm culture that's led to sexual assaults, underage drinking, and drug use that's caused 13 overdoses in recent years. The only person that would talk to us was the Sandusky police chief, Jared Oliver.
Do you ever have any calls or reports of minor people under 21 drinking, they're dipping drugs?
We do. Sometimes people drink underage. Sometimes people use illicit drugs. Cedar Point's a very safe place.
But for survivors like Raven and Casey and Elle, who shared their stories of abuse, there was no safe space.
Yeah, we're really talking about a perfect storm of risk factors here, right?
Sociologist Nicole Madera believes such cultures cannot be dismissed as trivial. There are consequences.
We are talking about young people, and then there's drugs and alcohol, which makes it really easy to blame victims if something does take place. It's really easy to dismiss it as a party culture rather than a violent culture.
We continue to invite Cedar Point officials to discuss the claims made by these young women. However, a spokesman will only say the park takes worker safety seriously and any crimes are referred to police. At the same time, Cedar Point refuses to release its own police reports. So while our series ends tonight, our work does not. In the meantime, you can find the entire series and find a direct link to email me your experiences by visiting the 3 News Investigates page on WKYC.com. Marissa Saenz, 3 News.
And tonight, Senator Sherrod Brown reacted to our investigation, saying, quote, "These reports are horrifying. Cedar Point must do everything within its power to investigate this. Companies have responsibility to make sure that seasonal workers who live in employee housing are safe, both on and off the clock," end quote.